Okay, so this video is going to be the second video for stairs in my classroom series. As you can see from the diagram, I was just messing around with the different types of stairs, and I will show you essentially where you can kind of go from here. I've been asking ChatGPT for a table, and I'll show you what it came up with. So essentially we're looking for the maximum and minimums for risers, so it can be anywhere from 4 to 8.25, with the target being 7. The depth of the tread, that would be the flat part, would be somewhere between 9, and I guess there is no limit. So you can imagine a step that would just be, I don't know, if say you're off in a park or something like that, and it goes up 9 inches, and then maybe it has 2 or 3 feet. So the target would be 11 for that, especially for houses. Depth. That's width nose. So that's the part that comes out a little bit in front of the step. Stair width, so we're looking at somewhere, it can't be any smaller than 2 foot 10 inches, so that's just under 3 feet. And the target being 3 feet, but probably the wider the better for moving people and things. For stairs in public, we're looking for basically almost 4 feet. Headspace, so the target would be 6 foot 8, and you could have as little as 6 foot 6 if you're in an old house that was built, I don't know, in the 50s. You can see a lot of stairs that you have to kind of go awkward positions to get up and down. Guardrails, we want to have, I guess, 3 feet or 36 inches. In public, it goes a little bit higher, and the nose overhang and such. So these are all for comfort. Mainly it's for not tripping or causing people to trip. This is, if you look closely, there's a lot of mistakes. So like this baluster is really low. There's a landing, kind of a fenced in area, I guess, with the railing that isn't needed. And that's because I used sort of a little experiment with one of the stair types. These spirals don't match up, and so there's a whole bunch of problems with this. But the end result is that we're trying to play with using the stair command, and as we play, we're going to get better and better. And since we've just started, it's not whether we get really good or not, it's just whether we kind of can do what we want to do without too much trouble. So I'm going to close that, and I'm not going to save it, and I'm going to open a new one. And as always, we're going to English Imperial because we're in Canada, and we're going to use the residential default. So one of the things that I might recommend for you is to change your levels. So this one here is 9 feet between the first floor and the foundation. Now, what has been happening to me is that it's been automatically setting to the foundation, and for this case I don't want that, so I'm gonna maybe get rid of these things. So I'll get rid of the footings and the foundation, and then I'm gonna change this. So I want it to be 9 feet, so we'll zoom in and we'll change this to -9. So now we've got a nice even space between the floors, and we're not going to worry about the roof. Okay, so you can change that or you're not. You don't have to. So the first step is to go to the architecture tab and go to the floor. So the basement floor is going to be a structural floor, and it's going to be on the basement level, and we are going to open that view. So now it's going to ask me what kind of flooring. I want a concrete slab. Now typically you'd finish on top of that, but for this case it doesn't really matter. And we're going to go with a rectangle, and we'll do, I don't know, a long narrow one. So we'll go 20 feet and we'll go 80. Okay, and the reason for this is just that we want to play with different types of stairs. So we're going to check that, and then we're going to go back to the north view, and you're going to see that that was the top. So we still have a 9-foot span between that and the first floor. So that's what we want. We're going to find the 3D view of that, and it's just concrete finish. So you can start drawing stairs on that right now. So we just go to the stair button, and it asks what view. So we're going to go to that view, and we're going to start off with the straight run. So this is kind of a review. So let's say that we're going to run this, and we'll just hit the default. So it's going to go from the basement to the first floor with no offsets. So we click and we go, and you'll notice that it in the, I guess I should zoom in a bit. You can sort of see that it tells you how many stairs are remaining. So if I go up to there, so it's 16 risers. I click and I go and take a look at the side view of that. And because I don't have any upper floor, it just shows me that particular stair type. Okay, so that's the first type, but you can do a second thing with an automatic landing on that next. So we're going to go back to the basement level, and this time we're going to use the command. So remember that we're going 16 steps, and that's because we changed it to 9 feet. So we're going to go start about the same. We're going to go forward, and when we get to 8, that's a good time to click, and then we go off to the side, and we want to line it up, and then we click again, and we do the 8 going the other way. And the interesting thing about this is it creates a landing. Okay, so let's take a look at that from 3D. So there's just our first type of stairs, and it's got a landing, and you can click on it and you can change all sorts of things with it, and we'll get to that later. But let's go back to the stair type. So we're going to go back to basement, and we're going to look at the next set of stairs. So this one is the circular one, and it's not hard to make this stair type, but it's hard to develop the opening for it. So what I've seen in the past is where people have it going to an upper level, and so if you had it like that, it would go up to the upper level, and you could build a floor on that second level, sort of like a mezzanine or whatever. So maybe we'll do that just for fun, but I'll show you what that looks like. And what do we got? We'll go to 3D view, and so we've got this going up, and we'll see if it goes up the same height. So they're all going up the same height. They all start on the same floor. So that's kind of cool. Let's do that one again. So we'll go back to basement, go to stairs, and we'll just do a tight spiral for that one. So let's go with, we'll draw it over here. I don't know. Zoom in a bit. Let's try that one, see what happened. Nope, it wouldn't let it. Okay, so that one would be one complete circle. We'll take a look at that from the side. So that would work too if you're going up to a second level, we'll say. And we just have to have it match up with that, and maybe we can do that just for fun. These ones are really easy. Let's go out of there. We'll go back to the basement floor, back to stairs, and let's try the corner ones. And they kind of come out as they are. So let's just show you how to work with those. So if I hit check mark on them and then go to the view, you can sort of see where they would be very useful if you had them in the corner. So then how do you rotate them or whatever? Say you messed up, you want to rotate it. So you could select the item, and it helps to go to filter. And so we don't want we don't want this, man. I don't know. Maybe we didn't get it. Okay, so let's try moving that. So let's try rotating it for one. So I guess, okay, so I selected everything. Well, first of all, if you select this, and then you can unpin it. Unpin it. Now you'll notice that I'm moving that line with it too. So that's a bit of a problem. So let's hit escape and see if we can just delete that line. Okay. So we can move this around with the arrows, but we can't rotate it. So let's see if we can rotate it. So we'll select the item and we're going to rotate it, and we're going to say we want it to move there. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. Okay, so now we should be able to still move it. And often you'll find these stairs in the corner of a house. And we'll give a bit of an air gap. So now we're going to hit escape. We're going to take a look at what that looks in 3D. So now what you could do, because you would probably end up with a wall on that side, you could delete those and you could make just a handrail up the side, which would save you money when you're building the house. Okay, and let's go back to stairs again. So basement floor, and we're going back to architecture, stairs. So this is the U-shaped one. So when it comes out, it basically is going to be very similar to the one before it, because it's just sort of a standard shape. And when we look at that in 3D, you can see that it comes back on itself. And we don't have a landing. So the difference between the second one is that we have a landing, which is often desirable. If you've ever tripped on stairs, you know that that's probably the situation where you try to go on the narrow part. I have a set of stairs of these in my house that have these angled stairs, and I have honestly fell on them a few times, which is not fun, but that is how you do the basic sets of stairs. And then what you can do is you can make your first floor. So let's play with what you do with this flooring thing, because we're going to make a weird shaped floor. So you'll see that you can't see the floor in this view. So what we want to do is change to view extent. So under extents, we go to view range and we edit that, and we change that to unlimited and hit apply. So now we've got the base floor. So when we go in to make our flooring, so let's say that we want an architectural floor and we want it to be 12 feet with carpet. That's where you got that red carpet that you saw in my example in the beginning. So we're going to start off with maybe a rectangle. So you could draw the whole thing and then cut out what you want. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that for this section. And then I'm going to draw a line from here, and we want to show that effect. Actually, we'll go here to this is gonna be weird floor. Actually, we want not that part. So it will get really mad at you if you, actually I don't want that. So I want to do some breaks, so you can break the floor here. And then you can delete some of it. Let's see if we can delete, hit escape a couple times. So I can delete this part, I hope. Yep. And then this part would be a trim. So you trim that corner. So then we've got a floor coming here and stopping there. We probably want it to continue. So let's keep going with the outside. And what do we want here? We want this to and then we want to get rid of some chunks here. So we want to get rid of that line. We want to get rid of that line. Probably want to get rid of that line. Now I think it's coming up here, so I want to, let's see what we got here. So it's mad because of this line, I would guess. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit continue. We're going to get rid of that line, and then we'll take a look at what's going on. It says that there's a mystery line here, so we're going to just delete that. And we're going to take a look at what we got. So we'll go back to 3D. So some of it works out and some of it doesn't work out. So this is the biggest success is this part here where you go up the stairs and then you go to the second level. Now this one should be mirrored so that it goes the other way, and then you can have that going up to the other level. And I think I've showed you this before, but let's do this again. We want to go to the first floor, and we want to cut out for these stairways. So we can do that with a rectangle. So we just click on, now it's 6'6", right? And I think I showed you in the other video that you could measure that. So that would be one cutout. And this one, there's an arrow going this way, so we could do that one as well. I need to choose my tool. And you probably want this space here. So let's do the line from here. Now you could cut the whole thing out. Yeah, we'll do that just to keep it simple. And now I've got this extra line that's going to be a problem. And then we hit OK. And we can go to 3D view. So now what we have is we have stairs going up to the second level. I think that kind of worked out. You could measure this distance, and then the funny part is that if you just click on this floor here, you can move this line as much as you want, and then just recheck it, and it will change for you. So that's very handy. I don't know about the step here, whether it, I guess that step works out. We obviously need to bring this part out here. So let's show you how to do that. So we're going to go to first floor, and we just want to bring a line, I don't know, from here. And another line from there. And then we got to get rid of this line here. See if we can delete that. And then you can use this trim corner. Trim that. Now it didn't actually match up, but it still knew what I was doing. And then when you hit check mark, what is it doing? It doesn't like something. Let's see if we can pick it out. Lines do not intersect each other. So it's highlighted in orange, so we got to take a look at that. So zoom in on the corner. So that one seems to be good. This might have been the problem one. Well, we could just redraw that one. So delete that, delete that, delete that. There's probably the thing that was the issue. Okay, so go back to line. Down. And up. I don't know. Okay, so we got it that time. And now we can take a look. So we have an opening for the first one. We have an opening for the second one. We have an opening for the third one. We've got this sort of platform for the fourth one. We still haven't dealt with these ones. So that one. So we're going to go to first floor. And these ones are probably, let's see, we're just going to click on the floor. We'll go with, I don't know, rectangle. And this one will go with the line, maybe. Chase this line on the outside. That's where having that gap between the wall and the staircase was maybe a good idea. And then we click OK. Hit the 3D view. Hold Shift, center mouse button. And so we've got our stairs. So now one of the things I haven't shown you is if you click on this element here, you do a right click, you can override graphic view and you can make it more transparent. So when you hit apply, you can sort of see that your stairs are easier to manage. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do before we go on is we're going to show you how to edit the basically the banister, I believe it's called. So if, let's say that we wanted to take a look, we could obviously delete it. If we wanted to, we can click on the stairs and change the type. So maybe I'll do that first. Is that when we do a drop down, we could do open left, so you can sort of see what happened, where it got rid of that piece of wood. We can change it to open on two sides, so you can sort of see the contrast between the one beside it. So this piece of wood or what have you is missing. We can change it to open risers. So that has basically just, I don't know if you're ever a kid and you dropped something and it fell underneath the stairs. That's probably what kind of stairs you had. We will change this to a little bit easier to see. You can do a drop down. So this is open risers with middle string. Now, that looks like it's gonna break or whatever, but I guess if it's strong enough, and that is possible. And then open risers right. So those are the main ones for the stairs. Now for the railing, we can click on that. And so you can sort of see that it's here. You can go to edit. And this is fairly confusing, so I'm going to try to slow down a bit. But the first thing you want to do is you want to duplicate, and then minimally you can put your initials afterwards, just so that if you mess it up, it's not going to be such a loss. So in this field, I spent probably a couple hours on here yesterday. We can go and we can hit edit. So these are inserting things, but we're not going to do anything right here. So it's this next one, I believe, is the one that we want. So this is a regular 3/4 inch baluster. And here's the interesting part. So the starting post and the ending post, and this is not really easy, but so in default we basically have round ones and square ones, but we might want to add them. So let's see if we can cancel out of here, and we can cancel out of here, and we go to architecture components. And when you're in components, you can load families. So I'm in balusters, so I'm going to back up a little bit. So if you're in the US, let's see, back out even further. So in English, let's gamble again. So we want English Imperial, we want US, and then we're looking for railings, and we're looking for balusters. So what I find interesting, or I want to play with first, is this square with the round ball. So that's pretty classic in a lot of homes. So let's open that up. We'll say yes to that. Now at one point I just selected everything. I don't know, let's try that. And let's go no. Okay, so let's see if we can make a change now to the railing. So I'm giving it a minute. And let's go to architecture. So I'm in this railing. I'm going to edit it. And now it was the second thing, so placement baluster. So now I'm hoping that those show up, the round one. And it is, of course, not showing up. Okay, we're going to just change it to something different here. So let's say that we wanted a 2-inch one at the end. And you could do both of them. Let's just show you what that looks like. So I didn't get the round one that I wanted, but you can sort of see that it's thicker on one side. And if you clicked OK, you would see that down here you have a thicker baluster on that side. I don't know why it's clear. Let's see if we can hit render realistic. Okay, we're going to stop it at this point.